Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.TV. Today we're talking about how to be incongruent. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your mission, message, and presence and create accelerated results toward preeminence right now. Today, I want to remind you of something. My dad used to say to me all the time, the world doesn't owe you anything. I'm going to say something to you right now that probably no one's ever told you before. You do not owe the world anything. What would happen if you just dropped every expectation people had of you? What if you reassessed every relationship and belief to see if you still agree with it or not? Or if you've just been blindly being loyal to it so you can remain a part of a tribe, that you be accepted, that you be on the inside or the in crowd instead of being on the outside, being the outcast. Sometimes you need to clear the slate. I have to ask you, what kind of life would you be living right now if you didn't feel obligated to another person, to a belief system, to your parents, to your supervisor at work? How would you make your decisions differently? So much of our life, we make decisions to be congruent with our past. We feel obligated to remain the same. If you've ever gone to a car show, you notice sometimes the new model of car that comes out is just slightly different than the previous year. You know, the angles are a little different, or they changed something about the dash, or they added a couple colors. But nothing nothing that pops out as being completely new, completely innovative. Why? Because people would have a hard time accepting it. And it's acceptable to be congruent with the past. Just a little bit of change, right? Nothing too drastic. But as a leader, what we really want to feel in our lives is as if we are incongruent. Incongruence is the adventure. It's the innovation. It's the newness. You can do anything if you're willing to accept the potential effects of the decisions you make. So when you change how you are around people, just know that there's going to be a reaction, and it may not always be positive. Know right now that most people won't follow you. You're changing way too fast. You're a different person. They'll say, what's happening to you? You're not the same person you used to be. Maybe you should take some medication. Maybe you should talk to somebody about this. You're just probably going through a crisis. What if it was something inside you that was actually kicking in? That your protection mechanism flipped the switch to preservation of your past to creation of your future. You could no longer be incongruent with your true self. The frustration and the stress you're feeling is trying to make peace with a split personality. The person you are and the person you are being to the world, that person is still being loyal to everyone and everything around you. The predictable person, the nice person, it's at war inside you. I want to challenge you. The person you are needs to change and become the leader you are called to be. You must innovate yourself first. You must break the congruency with your past and shift into the man or woman you need to be. You're going to surprise and scare some people because your willingness to change is going to make them feel uncomfortable. If you are willing to face all those potential consequences, to leave the tribe behind, to start a new one, then go for it. Get congruent on the outside to the you on the inside. It's going to look like you're being totally incongruent to the outside people, but what you're doing is now you're letting your inside out completely. You don't owe the world anything. You don't owe any individual anything. Those loyalties, those contracts you've created in your head are just an idea. Maybe sometimes you need to have a conversation with somebody and say, listen, I feel obligated to do this. I feel indebted to you for this. Have the conversation and let it go. Those beliefs that no longer are serving you, you need to let them go. I've gone through this several times in my life with my church or my beliefs or with my parents, and realizing who I am today is not the little boy. Who you are today is not the little boy or the little girl that made all these agreements in the past. You feel indebted to somebody because they did something for you years ago, and yet you feel like you have to remain in your past for the rest of your life. Let me give you the opportunity to take a look at that as the adult you are today and consciously choose. Are you going to remain that person by remaining loyal to those ideas and those relationships and those things that bound you to your past, or are you going to let them go? Are you going to cut them loose and let your ship sail into the distance after cutting the anchor loose? Your action step today is to do one thing that is more congruent with your future than it is with your past. Do this. Don't just think about it. Do one thing today. It could be the one thing that shifts your entire life. I'll talk with you tomorrow. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to newness.You, where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence, enroll in the Elevation Program, and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.